so we can upload it to YouTube. Okay, now let's get started. And everyone's ready? And
Thank you, ma'am.
And hands on your hip for neck exercises. Nadu, set, net, da, use it, ogak, yodu, nadu, set, net, da, use it, ogak, yodu. Arm swings to forward to back. Nadu, set, net, da, use it, ogak, yodu, nadu, set, net, da, use it, ogak, yodu. And waist bend this way first. Nadu, set, net, other side, da, use it, ogak, yodu. Nadu, set, net, da, use it, ogak, yodu. And let's do toe touches going this way first. Ready? And nadu, set, net, da, use it, ogak, yodu. Nadu, set, net, da, use it, ogak, yodu. From here, let's stay here and hold it for a 10 count. Try and keep your back flat and your head up as you're leaning forward. Good. And dual, set, net, das it. Use it, yoga. Yodu, and you. And now let's do forward and backward bends. Yes?
Yes.
Nadu, set, net, das it. Use it, yoga, yodu. Nadu, set, net, das it. Use it, yoga, yodu. And let's bring our feet together. We're going to take this leg, bring it over your other leg, and reach down for a 10 count. And now, dual, set, net, das it. Use it, yoga, yodu, and you'll bend your back leg to release and switch. Same thing on the other side now. And now, dual, set, net, das it. Use it, yoga, yodu, and yule. And let's do leg stretches, short going this way first. This is one of those times where I will have to walk up to the screen. Okay. And hana. Do, set, net, das it. Use it, yoga, yodu, and yule. Switch. Hana. Do, set, net, das it. Use it, yoga, yodu, and yule. Switch and longer. Hana, do, set, net, das it. Use it, yoga, yodu, and yule. And switch. Hana, do, set, net, das it. Use it, yoga, yodu, and yule. Let's go down to the ground. We'll put this leg out first. 2 down, 2 over, 2 down, 2 back. Nadu, set, net, das, use it, yoga, yodu. Nadu, set, net, das, use it, yoga, yodu. And let's go down for a 10 count. Nadu, set, net, das it. Use it, yoga, yodu, and yule. See, I can't trick like you guys with the counting sometimes, but I know everyone hates stretching, so I know I can catch you guys on that. Awesome. Okay, leg comes over for ankle rotations. Nadu, set, net, das it. Use it, yoga, yodu. Nadu, set, net, das it. Use it, yoga, yodu. Leg down, arm across, and twist. Nadu, set, net, das it. Use it, yoga, yodu, and yule. And let's switch legs. 2 down, 2 over, 2 down, 2 back. Nadu, set, net, das it. Use it, yoga, yodu. Nadu, set, net, das it. Use it, yoga, yodu. And down for a 10 count. dual, set, net, dasit, yusit, ilga, yodul, and yul. And leg comes over for ankle rotations. Okay? Hana, dual, set, net, dasit, yusit, ilga, yodul, hana, dual, set, net, dasit, yusit, ilga, yodul. Put down, arm across, and twist. Hana, dual, set, net, dasit, yusit, ilga, yodul, and jul. Okay, let's spread our feet out as wide as they will go. And let's go down towards this side first. Now, dual, set, net, dasit, yusit, ilga, yodul, and you will stay low, other side. Now, dual, set, net, dasit, yusit, ilga, yodul, and jul. And let's go down towards the middle. One of the things that I find that really helps is I use my hands and I push on the outside of the legs as I'm going down. Ready? And down towards the center. Now, dual, set, net, dasit, yusit, ilga, yodul, and yul. Coming back up, put your hands behind, pull your feet back together, and bottoms of your feet together. Last stretch for butterfly. Now, dual, set, net, dasit, yusit, ilga, yodul, and yul. Awesome, and let's all also stand up.
Yes, ma'am.
And everyone try yet? Can yet?
Thank you.
We're gonna jump straight into it because we're gonna do a million kicks that you guys are gonna be exhausted. So if we do any more of a workout, you probably will hate me today. So we're gonna go straight into Kamsa. So hands come up. Kamsa up.
Kamsa, young man.
1 man.
1 man.
2 man.
2 man.
3 man.
3 man.
4 man.
4 man.
5 man.
5 man.
6 man.
6 man.
7 man.
7 man.
8 man.
8 man.
9 man.
9 man.
10 man.
10 man.
감사합니다.
Kamsahamnida, man.
준비. Four stands go. Hey.
Hey!
Strikes. You got, most of you are unmuted, so I know that you can have more spirit than that. Okay? Unless you have to be quiet because there are other people around you. But I know that's not how we usually sound. But I can hear some of you guys. Okay. 10 elbow strikes.
10 elbow strikes, man.
There's one person sounding stronger. Okay. 1 man.
1 man.
2 man.
2 man.
3 man.
3 man.
4 man.
4 man. 5 man.
6 man.
6 man.
7 man.
7 man.
8 man.
8 man.
9 man.
9 man.
Hey.
Hey!
Borrow check. And connect.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, we're gonna go straight into our kicks. We'll do a bunch of front stretches to warm up, and then we're going to kick like crazy. So everyone try it. And connect.
Thank you, ma'am.
Step this leg back, front stretch position. Go. Hey.
Hey!
Front stretch by my count. Up, down, and cross with the L. And hana. Dual. Set. Net. That's good. Good, and just your feet go. Hey.
Hey!
Same thing, other side. Ready? And hana. Dual. Set. Net. That's it. Good. And switch your feet. Go. Hey.
Hey!
Come up in our sparring stance. We're going to do our front kick. Land in front. And step back by my count. Ready? And hana. Dual. switch your feet, go A.
Hey.
We're going to do roundhouse kick. So here, kick, hold, land in front, and step back. And hana. Dual. Set. Net. Dasa. Good. Switch your feet, go A.
Hey.
Same thing, other leg. Ready? And hana. Dual. Set. Net. Dasa. Good. Switch your feet, go A.
Hey.
Heel towards the target. Front leg side kick, making sure toes are down. Heel is up. Ready? And hana. Dual. Set. Net. Dasa. Good. Let's switch our feet. Same thing, other leg. Ready? And hana. Dual. Set. Net. Dasa. Good. Switch your feet. From here, stepping side kick. Heel to the target. Step behind. Kick, pull. Land in front. Mr. Brady, I think you're good. Yeah, I was about to say. You're good. You're fine. Okay. If there's at any point we get past a kick that's not your level, or you feel free to challenge yourself and try it. If you know it's probably not a good idea for you to do it, or you're not comfortable yet, feel free to go back to the basics and start all over. Okay? Because we're just going to keep going. But if you want to try anything that's not your rank, by all means, try it. There's no harm, no foul. Okay, stepping side kick. And hana. Dual. Set. Net. Dasa. Switch your feet. Same thing, other leg. And hana. Dual. Set. So, Mr. Brady, kick the leg that's in front of you, the other leg steps. My back leg steps, my front leg kicks. Net. Just like that. So that was awesome. Great job, Miss Amy Marie. And Dasa. Good. Let's switch our feet. From here, back leg side kick. My back leg comes up. And then I do a side kick. This one, if you're a high-ranking belt, is probably in your form or will be in your form. So this is a really good one to try and have balance with more than anything else. So it's a very powerful kick, but it's one of those kicks that we can fall into very easily. Try and have your balance as you go through. Ready? And hana. Dual. Set. Net. Dasa. Let's switch your feet. Same thing, other leg. I hope you guys are as tired as I am. Okay. And hana. turn over your back leg. Kick, pull, land in front. Your back should face the target the whole time. If you over-rotate, you're going to lose your balance and lose your power. So when I'm here, when I kick, my back stays to the target the whole time. It's a really good self-defense kick, because not only does it push away, but it primes you to run away. Yes? So it's a really, really good kick to have for self-defense. I think it's fine. It's quite fun to kick people with this kick. Okay, hands up. Back kick. And come out. Duel. Set. Net. Dawson. Going to switch your feet. Same thing, other leg. And come out. Duel. Set. Net. Dawson. Good, switch your feet. This is where it gets really, really, really fun. We're not going to do spinning hook kicks today. Not that I don't think anyone's on spinning hook kicks. So we're good anyways. But some of the higher ranks, we do have more kicks that we would do at graduation. So the first one that we're going to do is front kick. Back knee comes up, same leg kicks again. Jumping front kick. So the same leg kicks twice. So one more time. Front kick. Jump front kick. We're only going to do 4 of these. We're going to do 2 on each side. Okay? Hands are up. And hop back. Now we should be doing it with the other leg now. You should be switching legs every time. And duel. And set. And net. Okay, this time we have roundhouse kick, jump roundhouse kick. So kick, back knee comes up, and kick again. Oh boy, 2 on each side. And hana. And then you should be doing the other side. And duel. And set. Woo! Oh my goodness, okay. These get harder. Net. Good. Last kick that we're going to do. Side kick, step, side kick. So back leg. Side kick, land, stepping, side kick. And then you do the other leg. Last 4 kicks. Ready? And hana. And then other side. Duel. Set. Net. And borrow. Giraffe. And net.
Thank you, ma'am.
So for the most part, when you're a higher ranking belt, I believe it's purple belt and higher, you start to do some of those kicks that we did at the very end. And then when you get really, really high up, you do back kick, jump back kick, and obviously if you're a red belt and higher, you have your spinning hook kick as well. So great way to practice your kicks and get a workout, right?
Oh, yeah.
But we actually are going to do more kicks. So if you're as tired as I am right now, I will give you guys 30 seconds to get water before we do like another 50 kicks.
Thank you.
And then we're going to do more kicks. I think I'll have done 1,000 by the end of today. So hopefully my kicks are even stronger. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go through a bunch of the kicking combinations up to our kicking combination. Instead of doing all of them though, because that's a lot, we're going to do only the ranks that we have on the screen. So we'll do yellow, orange, green, purple, brown. Okay? And when you get to your kicking combination, you're just going to continue doing that as we keep going through the ranks. So unfortunately, Mr. Brady, no more advanced kicks for you, sir. But at least you got some in there earlier. The idea being, and this is why I'm having you go through them first before getting to your own kicking combination, if you are a higher rank. We get so hooked on the fact that we're on a new kick or we're trying something new that we start losing some of the technical details in our basics. And then us doing that kick doesn't make sense, especially when it comes from it. For instance, if you're a brown belt, and I see many brown belts on the screen, if your roundhouse kick, turnaround roundhouse kick, which is the green belt kicking combination, isn't strong, there's no reason for you to be doing roundhouse kick, jump around roundhouse kick, because your technique will not be there. I actually was very proud. I had a kid, a very young black belt. He just got his black belt last year, and I had a private lesson with him. And I asked him, okay, I already know what I want to work on with you. What do you want to work on? And he actually, instead of learning a new form, he wanted to go through all of his basic forms. And he said, I'm going to be doing all these new techniques and new stances, and I shouldn't be doing them if I'm not comfortable with what I already learned. He goes, and I forgot some of those forms because it's been a while. So I want to go over the basic forms, like white belt form, the yellow belt form. I go, and this kid's like 8 years old. So it was extremely impressive that he had that mindset. So I go, that is a mindset I'm going to keep for all of my classes and torture them with all their basics before doing anything else. So that's how we're going to run more of our kicks today. So we're going to start with the yellow belt kicking combination first. I'm sure Mr. Brady knows this really well, but roundhouse kick, fast kick. If you have distance to really move forward and drive that second kick, like you should be doing in real life with a fast kick, please do. Try and make it as realistic as possible, so that way you get the most benefit out of it. If you have a limited space, try and see if you can change your distances each time and measure them. So I see the steepers right now are like, oh, set, they're going to cover a lot of distance. So, but do what you can with the space that you have. So hand to sparring stance, roundhouse kick, fast kick. We're going to do it like 5 times, and then we'll move on to the next kicking combination, and the next, and the next, and the next, until we've done all of them. So hopefully we'll get another 50 kicks in here, maybe. We'll see. We'll see how many kicks we get done. Okay, starting with roundhouse kick, fast kick. And hana. And duel. And set. And net. Good. Now, if you are an orange belt or higher, we're going to do the next kicking combination, which is low roundhouse kick, high roundhouse kick. Okay? If you cannot kick high to the head level, like clearly I cannot right now, currently, kick as high as you can, or do knee belts. But try and get that kick up as high as you can. If you're more flexible on one side than the other, really try and reach that kick up. Okay, low roundhouse kick, high roundhouse kick. And hana. Duel. Set. Net. One more. Toss it. Good. So orange belts, Ms. Amy Murray, you will stay with that. Yellow belts are staying with roundhouse kick, fast kick. Green belt and higher, we have roundhouse kick, turn around, roundhouse kick. So here, roundhouse kick, land, turn all the way around. Same leg kicks again. Roundhouse kick, turn around, roundhouse kick. And Mrs. Saper, just make sure you don't break anything. Okay. Roundhouse kick, turn around, roundhouse kick. And hana. Good job, Vigils. And Mr. Voodoo, great job. Okay, and duel. with roundhouse kick, turn around, roundhouse kick, purple belt and higher. We have cup kick, land, back kick. Okay? Oh boy. Hands up. And hana. And duel. And set. And net. And dasa.
Gen 1.
Okay, so purple belt will stick with cut kick, back kick, brown belt and higher. We will do roundhouse kick, jump around roundhouse kick. Okay, if you cannot do the jump, do a turnaround roundhouse kick. Hands up, starting stance.
Okay.
And hana. And duel. And set. Net. And dasa. We're going to go through all these one more time because I believe Mr. Aiden is the black belt and he has back kick 360 back kick. So we're going to go through it one more time, give Mr. Aiden a chance to do his back kick 360 back kicks, and then we will move on. So everyone please do your kick combination 5 more times. I will count, and we'll do back kick. Oh, you know what? I'm sure Aiden's got it, so let's see. I'm going to spotlight people who are doing their kicking combinations really well for this last one. That's what I'll do. Hands up, sparring stance. And hana. And duel. And set. One more. Net. One more. Dasa. Good. And everyone borrow. Chariot. And Gunyat.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, that was a lot of kicks. That was fun. Awesome. So now what we're going to do is we're going to spend the last 5 minutes. We'll cool down a little bit. We'll focus on our forms. So one of the things that I've been trying to have people focus on is a chunk of the form instead of the whole form. So no, I don't want everyone to start from the beginning. I want you to pick the last piece of the form you know, or the hardest piece of the form you know, or if you've gotten feedback from someone, because you already know the whole thing, work on that piece. Like right now, I'm going to stare directly into the camera and say the name Sapers. I know what you're working on, and I'm sure you guys do too.
I just graduated to brown belt, so I never did any of the forms.
Whoa, so sir, I will give you the beginning of the form then, so that way you have something to work with. But take a piece of the form. The biggest thing that happens is we try to memorize the moves, or we get really stuck on the beginning. We don't practice the techniques. Realistically, we're not going to use a form. We're not going to do a form to defend ourselves. No one's going to attack us in a specific pattern, unless they are doing their own type of form. But realistically, that's not going to happen, as we all know. But the idea is we are going to use some of those blocks. I was using the example as everyone kind of knows, especially if you're from Briarcliff, Master Glab is like the shortest instructor on the planet. It kind of stinks sometimes, but oddly enough, I'm the shortest person in Briarcliff, and the rest of my family is all over 6 feet tall. I don't know what happened. I guess they ran out of genes to give me to grow some more, but I'm like really short. My cousins are all like 6'5". It's disgustingly crazy. But they would use me as their armrest. They literally use my head as their armrest. And one of my cousins would tease me all the time because he also did martial arts and he wanted to go into the military. And so we would like compete all the time and do all this crazy stuff. But they would go to use me as an armrest, and I literally high blocked them because it was so annoying after a while. And I couldn't. My mom said I was not allowed to kick their shins or anything like that. So as a little girl, I couldn't do that. So I would use my high blocks all the time, and I'd knock it off, and they'd stop because getting hit with their with my forearm is not fun, especially when you're bony. But those blocks and those stances you're going to use in real life. If you've ever done woman self-defense with Master Edwards or done anything with him, stances are huge. They keep you from being dragged, picked up, knocked over. So all these things have a realistic application, whether or not they're in a form. So as we're going through, I want you to pick apart to make better so you can actually use some of those moves or use that concept in real life. I love doing kicks in forms because it challenges my balance more. And so that way I'm not clumsy when I go out and I'm walking on something that's unbalanced like a broken sidewalk. Or if I trip, I end up having more balance than otherwise. Things like that are huge. So I'm actually gonna set Mr. Massaro up with the beginning of his form, but I want everyone to take a chunk of their form and try and make it stronger, make the technique sharper, make the stances deeper, okay? As much as I can tell you what to fix, it's up to you guys to fix it. So like I said, I could call it really anyone, to be honest, but I'll use the Sapers again, because they can just point at each other and go, no, it's your fault. But there we go. But there's something I wanted them to fix. And so they know what it is already. It's up to them to make it happen. I obviously am not magical. I can't just make it work like that. So I'm gonna ask that you guys start like that. I will help Mr. Massaro, and then if I see you guys doing something, totally call you out for it in the hopes that you can take that correction and make whatever you're doing even stronger. But please find either the last chunk of your form that you've learned, if you're learning a form, or a piece that's really technical maybe, and just practice that, okay? Not the whole thing. Preferably not the beginning if you know the beginning really well as well. But everyone else can begin. Mr. Massaro, I'm going to pin you so you're the only thing that I see for the next few minutes so we can get working on this form. Page Ojung, the last form you did was the longest form you will learn for the Pages, and now Page Yukjong will be the shortest form you learn. So after you get through like the fourth move, fifth move, it's a breeze. So
Okay,
I'll give you some at the beginning, and then we'll go from there. So sure, yep.
Thank you, ma'am.
B, Page Yukjong.
Pagi Yukjong, ma'am.
So it starts with a double knife in the middle, back stance going this way first. So na. Yep. And then just bend your elbow more. You want your elbow tucked in, and hand in line with your shoulder always. Good. And then you're gonna front kick, land in a front stance, same hand punch. Dual, front kick, land, same hand punch. Good. Then your front foot's gonna turn all the way around. You turn double knife in the middle. Yep. And then kick, yes, back stance. There's very minimal chance that your double knife in the middle will never not be in a back stance. So
Okay.
it's very, very, very rare. Yep. And dual, front kick, punch. Good. Then your front leg is going to come forward. You do front stance, low block.
Front step.
You're going to come towards the camera.
Oh, sorry.
So switch your feet.
So front stance, low block.
So you're here. Your front foot comes towards the camera, low block. So switch your feet right there.
This way.
Just like that. Then without stepping, this hand's going to set to your belt. The other hand's going to come up. So your front hand sets to your belt. Yep. You're going to bring the hand that's at your belt going to do a high block. The other one's going to chop. So backhand chops, front hand high blocks. Yes. Just like that. So it's one of those moves where it's at the same time. It's very, very odd.
Oh, no. Whoops. So it's.
There. Just like that.
Okay.
And then I'm going to say practice up to there again. People get really frazzled on this move, especially with the next move. So I will do that like 10 times. Then I'll give you the next move because it's like the most complicated move you're going to learn the whole form.
Well, I knew I never did that.
I'll literally teach you the rest of the form next time you come to class.
Awesome.
It becomes much easier. But I would just practice up to there. So double knife in the middle, front kick punch, double knife in the middle, front kick punch, front stance, no block, and then that high block chop. I'll keep an eye on you as you're going through, but I find that most adults don't really need to be baby. They just need questions answered. Because I'll ask questions more than my kids.
Thank you. Yeah, it's kind of like. Oh wait, block.
You got it.
No.
Yes, sir, just like that.
Okay. Whew.
Mr. Brady, I'm gonna pick on you a little bit, sir. Okay, great. Yes, I love when parents are excited to be picked on. One of the things that's probably the hardest, especially in the yellow belt form, is the double knife hand middle. So I would angle this down just a little bit. So when I would do it, I would set both hands and practice coming across and in, because it's a two-hand motion. You're either pushing and pulling or both hands are going at the same time. So this is a move where both hands should go at the same time.
Which palm goes up and which goes down?
So when you start, the hand that ends up being like the stop sign, that starts palm up, this starts palm away. So it's palm away, like I'm telling someone else the other way to stop, and then I'm literally switching it. So this one's palm away and this one's palm up. And then I just straighten it out a bit, yep, just like that. And I would try and make it a bigger motion.
Okay.
So this hand should start across your patch, this hand out, and it should end up being patch and out, yep. Yes. Thank you, sir. Let's see. I should pick on the vigils because I can see them all staring at the camera screen. That's what I should do. Let's see, vigils. Let's see. What part are we working on? Oh, the next part where you turn front stance, middle block, my favorite. Front leg, not back leg. Yeah, I got you, Miss DT. There you go, good kick. How are we doing, Mr. Boodoo?
Ooh.
Ms. Thompson, that looks really awesome, ma'am. Good, and let's borrow. Awesome, okay. So one of the things that, you know, if you already know your form and you're practicing a specific technique, obviously that's a great thing to do. One of the other things that I would do, and I was teasing all of my other kids about it. I mentioned earlier, if you were here like at the very beginning, Master Edwards had me do my form backwards at one point. It was the most chaotic and confusing thing I'd ever done in my life. But realistically, even when I'm teaching you guys, I go like this for your first move because this is the direction you guys facing me would be going. But realistically, this is mirror image for me. This isn't my left side, and we always go to our left first. So one of the things that I challenge you to do, if you're confident with a move or you want to practice more one side than the other or anything like that, because realistically, is everyone always going to attack our left side first? Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. But try practicing it the opposite direction. Or I challenge all my other classes to try and do from their last move that they know backwards to their first move. Sapers, you cannot do that because you have to actually practice stepping backwards, not stepping forwards. But some of those things really help. I used to do, back when I was in college and I had a lot more free time, I'll say. But I would go to school like first thing in the morning. I had 8 a.m. classes. I'd finish those, and then I didn't have to be at the dojang until 1:30, which was kind of like a big gap time for me. So I would come here, and I'd spend like 2 hours doing my forms. And I'd do my form the correct way, and then I'd do it going the opposite way. And so if you have the time, if you're confident with your form, if you really know it, or there's a piece you want to work on, that's something really cool to do. I saw that, Adia. So now you have to do it all the time. But if you have the chance, try it. It's actually really fun and challenging. It's like its own little puzzle in a way because we're so used to doing something one way. We're not used to doing it any other style or way. But thinking outside of the box sometimes is how you find better solutions and find ways to fix techniques. Like I fixed something that I had issues with forever because I just started going the other way once, and it made a huge difference. So Mrs. Dirks and Mr. Boodhoo, just because I know that you guys are pretty solid in your form, I would totally do that. I would totally try that. Do it with Owen and Samarth, and you guys are like set. challenge them, and that'll keep them busy all day trying to figure it out because they'll have no clue how to do it either. But it's definitely something to think about. So if you guys feel like you're not getting enough or you need something to challenge yourself more, take what you're doing and change it, right? Master Edwards' thing, when he would test people for black belt, he would make them have to write up a new form or a new self-defense or come up with a new technique and give a reason and a purpose and be able to break it down and teach it, which was actually probably one of the most memorable and important things. Like I wrote out 10 self-defense and I wrote out a form, and it makes a huge difference when you're studying those things and doing those things. If you have a concept of them and you can rewrite them and take pieces and put them back together, it's so cool too. We should do that again. I'm going to tell Grandmaster Burl. That's how we're going to test everyone from now on. So when you guys all become black belts, that's how we'll test you maybe. But definitely try it. Have fun with what you're learning. Make it your own in a way. I mean, that's how other martial arts came about. People took parts and pieces from what they learned or what they saw and they made it their own. So that being said, we've definitely run over in a very good way. But thank you so much for joining class tonight. It was a lot of fun. We did a lot of kicking. So I'm very excited to go to third degree class and completely be wiped because of this. So, which will be really, really good. That means that I worked hard and that you guys worked hard and challenged me. Thank you so much for obviously training hard and asking questions and doing what you're doing and being so enthusiastic about it. So this really does make my day. So especially after being in what my mom calls a back cave all weekend reading a book. So everyone try it. And class is dismissed. Come, something. Awesome. Have a great night. Enjoy.